Welcome back to the Fifth Wheel Podcast. I'm Hannah,
I'm Sydney.
and the season's over.
Boo.
I know. I'm like, this is our last intro for this season, and
uh, you know, that's depressing.
I
And
know.
I,
I was like, I won't bring it up till the end of the show, and then I was like, no, it's coming out right now.
yeah, I mean, it is depressing. It's the last episode, I guess, following a race of the 2025 season, which
Yeah.
really sucks
Yeah.
because was it at like it was a great oh god, it was a great season.
It was
Not
a
for
freaking
Ferrari,
amazing
as
season.
we've might have mentioned in an episode or two or like all um but it was just a great season, like different, like great in a different way than 24 was great, you know.
They're all different. It's like 24 was fun, and 2025 was I don't, you're exactly right. I don't know how to explain why it was different, but it was, you know?
it, yeah, like it was still some really good racing. We had some really good moments throughout the year, but it was like where 24 it was just you didn't know who was going to win ever.
No. Yeah, at
um
least in 25 it was kind of predictable, but at the same time, I feel like the podiums themselves were so varied. Like we might
yes.
have had the most insane change-ups of podium participants in a long time.
I mean, you had hecka surprise podiums. I mean, it just was like you had three rookies on the podium for the first time. You had Nico Hulkenberg, who has been after a podium. I mean, and it just you can't make that up. You had a
You
three-way tie
really can't.
fight, which holy shit. I
Yeah.
mean,
Down
it
to the
was
last
nuts.
race too. Like I mean, that was insane. I like my first note for like my notes for today's episode was I wrote this when I had clicked on to the race on Sunday and they were
Hmm.
doing the formation lap. And my first note says fear. My second note says just fear.
That's
I
funny.
was really scared. I was
Do you
nervous.
Do you want to know? This is going to lead us. I think this leads us a little bit into the race weekend. Do you want to know what my first note for the entire Abu Dhabi race weekend was
What
about?
is it?
Benson Boone.
Oh my god, that was crazy. What was he
So
doing there?
it was either Wednesday or Thursday. Like it was before the actual weekend started, and
It
I
was
open
Thursday.
Instagram and I just see Benson Boone flipping, which is not uncommon for him, but flipping in the Racing Bulls garage. Pardon?
It's very Racing Bulls coded. It really
No, it
is.
absolutely is. Because I
It wouldn't
mean,
have been any other team.
if there was an official F1 award for best social media admin of the season, it's gonna go to RB. They
Definitely.
were on a different planet. Like shout out to the Racing Bulls admin, marketing admin, social media admin. Like you did great, sweetie.
They deserve like
Um,
a round of applause. I wish I had like the iCarly remote where like you could click and it would do applause. That's
Yay!
that's what I would do for RB right now. Like their social media,
Oh,
not only was it better than like most have been this season, but like
mhm.
I think it might be the best social media I've ever seen in since
Oh,
I've started watching the sport like 7
it's
years ago.
it's up there. This year was on a different level, so like shout out to them. I mean, and to bring Benson Boone into your garage was already arguably hilarious. Well, then he did a hot lap with Max.
Mhm.
And and honestly, Benson Boone is so real for this because like same. At one point he got after the hot lap, he got asked or he just said, "I'm in love." And then someone off camera says, "Are you in love with the car or Max?" And without missing a beat, he goes, "Both."
Yeah.
Honestly, same.
Yeah. That's how I would have reacted after that. Also, likely, as much as I would love to do a hot lap with Max Verstappen, and I think it'd be the best time ever, I think I would also love having 2 feet on the ground after that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
think I'd
might
be
be a
scared
like
for my
Katy
life.
Perry coming off the spaceship, kissing the ground kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I I I think a hot lap with any F1 driver, but specifically Max Verstappen. I
It's
don't.
so funny.
Mm,
It's
I
just
think my
it's too good.
guts would be rearranged, like internal organs in a completely new order.
Yes, 100%. I would have like CTE after or something. I'd have a concussion,
Probably.
genuinely. It's funny too because especially with Benson Boone, I'm not really a huge follower of his, but I've seen that he doesn't really love the whole backflip thing anymore. Like he's kind of tired of it, so he doesn't do it as often. And so if anyone could get him to do it, of course it would be the V Carb marketing team, you
Right.
know? Like it just makes sense and I think it's perfect. And I just would like to do one more little mini round of applause for their social media team this year because we were fed. We were not
Oh,
at one point starving for any
absolutely.
content.
No,
Ugh.
it was phenomenal. I mean, so it was like already I was just in it for the race weekend. And then, normally we don't have much to talk about with practice sessions.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you get gems like two brothers, i.e., Arthur Leclerc, who is Charles Leclerc's little brother, on the grid at the same time. Because, so Arthur, I believe, is Ferrari's reserve driver, or he's one of the reserve drivers. I think, and he's still racing in F2? I don't really
I
remember.
I don't I think it's Ferraris. I don't
He's
see how it'd
there,
be anyone else's.
right?
Yeah, he's
And
there.
he's been in the car for a practice session before. But I
Hmm.
think when it happened last year, I think he drove Charles's car or whatever it was. Like I don't
Yeah.
recall them last year being on the grid at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, all I'm saying is if we ever actually get the two of them on the grid at the same time, I mean, I cannot wait for the radio messages because from this one practice session alone, I like let me just hit you with them. So not
Oh, they're
only
so good.
my so the first one I saw was Arthur about Charles. Charles had a spin in FP1 and he goes Arthur comes on the radio, he goes, "I think Charles is doing some burnouts for fans." And then the engineer goes, "Yeah, he spun at turn 5." And I'm like, "That's funny."
That's like
Then
such
the
little
next
brother
one,
energy.
I mean, oh, absolutely younger sibling energy. Like that's something Shelby would say to me and it's just absolutely younger sibling energy. I'm
Oh
here
yeah.
for it. And then we get, I don't remember what in context this was for, but I think a Leclerc did something and Bortoletto comes on the radio and he goes, "Leclerc, the big Leclerc."
Yeah.
Which I just love the concept of like not even like not specifying with Charles, just the big Leclerc.
The
And
big
we
one.
all knew what
But
he meant.
isn't Arthur like a little bit taller than Charles? So it really
I
could be
don't
either.
know, but they're not like they're very close in size. So it was
There's
just
not one that's arguably bigger.
no. It's just Leclerc, the big Leclerc.
Yeah.
And then
The
my
Big
favorite,
Lebowski.
I think, because Leclerc, Big Leclerc was my favorite. And
Hmm.
then I saw this one. And this is Verstappen, the GP. So Verstappen's longtime race engineer comes on the radio and goes, "You've got Leclerc Jr. at 3 seconds." And then Verstappen comes on the radio and goes, "I find it quite funny that you call him Junior." Like
I
again,
love
same
that.
thing. Not Arthur. Leclerc Jr. So we've got Leclerc Jr. and Big Leclerc.
Yep. Oh, I feel like the only driver that really goes by his first name, like on team radio, is like Max. Like people don't say Verstappen is
Yeah.
behind you, they say Max is behind you. But everyone else are like Norris is behind you, Piastri is
Mhm.
behind you. And so it's like out of character for them to just say Arthur or Charles. And
I guess
so
so. I think sometimes you get hit with Charles, but it's like it's not it's when you get first named on other radio messages, it's rarer in the sense that yeah, you're right. They almost always will go by last names. Max, you typically get Max, but a lot of the like it just was so funny. Leclerc, the big Leclerc,
Leclerc, the big
Leclerc
one.
Junior, and it just
Well, didn't someone go like someone said like, "Oh, Leclerc, blah blah blah," and didn't someone go, "Which one?"
so
I thought that was
probably
Lance. I don't
it
know.
had to have. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I just
Yeah,
now I not that I didn't think I need like I didn't need this, but now I need them on the grid at the same time. Even if
I
it's for just
do.
a season, a couple races. Like I need that to happen.
Need Lewis's appendix to burst so that someone can sub in for him.
Because I think it would fix a lot of my problems, oddly enough.
It would be hilarious. I think it would be one of the most memorable races that we've ever had if that happened.
Probably. Like it's giving debris or DeVries on outlap. What? Debris? Where? I mean, like
Yep.
R.I.P. Nick DeVries because he didn't last very long, but still,
R.I.P.
he's not dead. He's just not driving for Formula One anymore.
No, he had what, like 3 races?
Yeah, it was not good. He
No.
did not. Yeah, it was not great.
That's quicker than a Red Bull turnaround.
Darn near.
Darn near.
Darn near.
Well,
And then, so yeah, we talked about it a lot last week. There was a lot of hype, a lot of setup leading into this race, like truly did come down to the last race of the season. And so,
yeah.
like, that in itself made qualifying, like, it was like, who's qualifying where? Because that to me, especially where the McLarens were concerned, if one of them had had a bad qualifying, then I think we know who would have gotten priority there.
Yeah, definitely. But
But
they didn't.
no,
Everyone qualified quite well.
except, just a third consecutive, fourth if you count the sprint race Q1 exits for Lewis Hamilton.
No, genuinely. And also his radio messages were insane. Like him and his engineer this whole weekend. They were off the chart.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like the biggest F1 rivalry that we have yet to talk about is Lewis and his race engineer at Ferrari specifically. They hate each other's guts. And
I
you cannot
don't
convince me otherwise.
I don't think they hate each other because he's got Carlos's old race engineer. I just think he was so damn used to Bono that like no one else was good. Like you're gonna have, I mean, they have had their moments, but also I think Lewis and Charles are so done with that damn shitbox 25, not SF 25, like shitbox 25. I mean,
Burn it.
war
Burn
is
it.
over. Throw it in the trash, and I never want to see it again.
I was
Oh
gonna say,
my god!
hey, it's over. It can't get worse than this, but I'm not gonna say that because we know Ferrari and we
Oh,
know what they're capable of from a destruction
absolutely.
standpoint. So I'm
Never
not
will
gonna
I
say that.
say it can't get worse, right? Because I know who I'm talking about. It's Ferrari.
Well,
It could
it's like,
always get worse.
hey, war is over, but it's not so over yet. So,
No, 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 no. Absolutely. There is no such thing as so over as far as war with Ferrari goes. But I
yeah.
mean, like, no, on the real, I genuinely think both of them are just so excited to see that car go away.
Oh, I bet they're
Me
throwing like,
included.
yeah. I bet if it
I think
wasn't
all Ferrari
required to
fans
keep
are.
it for some reason, I bet they would actually like have a bonfire and burn it.
Honestly,
I
because
could see that happening.
throw the car in the trash. I mean, despite the fact, which I mean, we'll get there because somehow in a race not about him, even in the slightest, please tell me why this title fight race was about Charles.
It was so good. Well, everyone was joking that he's like the newest member of Red Bull because he was
Oh,
basically fighting for Max the whole
he's
time.
done more as a Red Bull second driver, not in a Red Bull even in the slightest, than the second Red Bull has done since Checo in 2023.
Yeah, well, speaking of that,
Like,
there was a meme that I saw and it made me laugh. It was just like a picture of Checo and then it was like Thanos going, "Perhaps I treated you too harshly." And then Checo himself replied to this and said, "Perhaps."
no, I know. That's just crazy.
I love it. I feel like I don't see him like on social media that much saying stuff like that. I know that he has his moments, but occasionally like he'll just pop on there and just kind of do some out of pocket shit and I love it.
No, it's kind of fantastic. I
I
mean, it
know.
just, to me, it's just hilarious because this race, we should not have been following Charles as much as we were.
No, he was low key like the deciding factor on if Lando won the
For
championship
me,
or not.
And then it was so funny because Max fans were getting mad at Charles for not overtaking. And it's like, do you forget that we are in a literal tractor?
Yeah, like it's not his fault, bestie. Like he was starting to close that gap, and then I just saw the time go
Yeah,
up, and I was like, I mean, this is what we expected,
because
you
again,
know? Like, what do you
a
expect?
tractor,
A
a
tractor.
tractor. I mean, it was so funny because
It's so good.
Charles already has done so much in that car that never, I mean, ever should have happened.
No, and what's so funny too is like, not only was Charles doing all he could for the Red Bull team, it's not like Max was unaware of this. Like
Oh
during
my
the
God, I
race,
know.
he goes, "Is Charles catching him or not?" Like,
And it's just, and this was one of those times where he got first named. Like Max was like, "Is Charles
yeah.
catching him or no?" Like,
He's like,
it's so funny.
is my personal friend Charles Leclerc catching him? Like, I
Like
need to know.
that's not your teammate. I mean, and it was so funny because before the race, I mean, like you've seen where Charles just will go full menace. And this was one of the, like there's a screen grab of him in an interview after qualifying and he got asked like, "Hey, like
Oh yeah.
what are you going to do?" And he's like, "Whatever small opportunity there is to make the life of guys in front more difficult and the risk I need to take to try and win or get a podium." Like he was like, "I'm going to do it."
He
Like
was straight up like hinting like I might crash on purpose.
like will kill you and myself. And not only that,
100%.
homie shouldn't have even been in Q3. His
No, he
last
shouldn't have.
qualifying lap was insane. He came on the radio and he said, "My lap. I don't know if if you've seen it. I nearly aborted it like 5 times. I was doing rally."
He was. Well, it's so funny too, like that whole moment of like all of this, and then also Max saying, "Is Charles catching him or not?" It
Yeah.
really put it back into perspective because this is like the most high stakes race of the season.
Hmm.
Tensions are high. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, who's gonna win? I bet they hate each other." Blah blah blah. It really just reminds you these are just some boys that grew up together. It's
Yeah.
not, and like that's like his act. Like I joked, like my close personal friend. That is his close personal friend.
No,
Like
literally.
it's not like is Leclerc catching him? Like is that guy on another team that I compete against? It's like is Charles doing it? Like can someone
Yeah,
call
like
him for me
can
since
you
I'm
give me an
driving?
update on my close personal friend Charles Leclerc, please? Like
Right. And it just
it
it brought
just
me back to like these are just guys that like in the off seasons would get on Twitch and race sims together and joke and like
yes,
I'm coming on
yes.
your camera mate. Like this is that same guy.
It's just
It just
so funny to me because
so
it's like
good.
after because I don't think we said it. So you had Max, Lando, and Oscar. That was your starting three. So like literally the three in contention were your top three, which
Yes.
already in itself was going to make it difficult for Oscar to win. He had the smallest chance and opportunity to kind of bump himself up.
Yeah.
And for Max to win, Lando couldn't finish on the podium and Max had to win. So it's
Yep.
like it was it was interesting because then on lap 1, you had like right at the race, it was a clean start from the top 3. Clean start from honestly everybody in the grid. Like probably one of the cleanest starts in any race that we've seen this season. It was
Which
absurd.
for this particular race, like, hey, why is everyone being so chill right
Did
now?
you see the meme and it's when someone they turn George into basically like a terrorist and it's like
Mhm.
and when the world needed him
Will
most he
he
vanished.
vanished? Yep, from Avatar. Yep, I have that one saved right here,
It
ready to
was
go.
so good. But it was just like the only thing that like I was like, "Ooh, Oscar very smoothly got around Lando at the
Yes.
start."
I saw
Which
that happen and I was like holding my breath and I let out the most ungodly sound. I
it
can't
was
replicate it. I can't tell you
it
what it
was
was.
wild because for that to happen, and that's why the whole like Charles Leclerc truly becoming Lightning McQueen, I am speed became such like a pivotal plot point in the race was because Lando was in third. If Charles did somehow bring that damn tractor to the podium, Max wins the championship.
It
So
would have been that simple.
it was just crazy. And
It
I'm
was
like
crazy.
and you know, to like beat the dead horse, literally and figuratively, with this tractor and it being the Ferrari car, like Charles was just like throwing fastest laps out there. Like it was Charles fastest lap, fastest lap, fast. And I'm like, where? Where did this come from?
And then
Huh?
why did it stop in the last 10 laps?
No, I know. Because the tractor finally realized of like, oh right, I'm supposed to be a bad car.
It was like, wait, let me go. Let me remember who I am as a person. The
Yeah,
tractor
like
said,
let me.
I'm remembering who I am right now. I'm not fast.
I mean, it just was for a race that for a title fight that he wasn't even in. Charles was in it.
Oh, I know. Well, and so he did more for Red Bull than the other driver did for Red Bull, and Yuki specifically. And there was a really funny, interesting moment that I think I actually screamed when this happened. So naturally, Lando has to pass Yuki. If he passes Yuki, like, and nothing
Mhm.
else happens, he wins. Like, it is the literally the last line of defense. Like, Charles was last line of offense. Like, I'm gonna go get him. But
Yes.
Yuki's last line of defense, he's like, I'm gonna do this. And they told him, they were like, hey, just so you know, Norris is gonna come past you. And he goes, I know what to do, so leave it to me. You know what he does? Absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah. So that was a lie.
That was yeah, so that was a fucking lie.
It
And
just
what's crazy, and this is like something that a lot of people are debating, is he like made kind of turned into Lando, which forced Lando
Mhm.
off the track. And everyone's mad because Lando didn't get a penalty for track limits, but also like, hey, the Yuki getting a penalty showed that he forced him off the track. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that because it's annoying. But like, we're like, Yuki, you said you were gonna do it. Like what?
right. Well, and okay. So no, you bring up the penalty because this is probably one of the few times in the season that I truly do agree with what the stewards decided and what the penalty came out to be.
I
Because
do too.
it was one of those on first glance, you're like, Lando overtook off track. He's got to either give that position back or he's going to get a 5-second penalty. Well, then they show the replay and it's like, oh, no, no. Now they're both under investigation. So they're looking at both drivers. And the reason Yuki was not even just forcing a driver off track, but for moving too many times under braking or in defense
Yep.
because you're only allowed to make like one, you can't like zigzag jerk defense. You don't get zigzag, you get zig or you get zag. Like you get
He did
one.
zigzag zig. He did three.
He did three and you watch that replay and he very clearly was like, "Oh, nope, jump over here to block you, jumping over here to block you, jumping over here to block you." Like
Yeah.
and you can't do that. Like he did. He broke the rules and because of that last time he came back, that was when Lando went off track. And at
Which
first
is
I was like,
understandable.
right. And so at first, on that first, I was like, no, Lando overtook off track. He's got to give that back. And then you see the replay, and I was like, no, okay, all right, stewards, you got it right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. But so it's like people are gonna, but it doesn't matter how many times you tell people that logic. They're gonna be like, ah, it's funny. Like I've seen, um, Lando, you're number four because you can win with four tires off track. And I'm like, no, he literally was pushed off track in this
He
case.
was. Well,
And so it's
and
like,
I'm seeing all the posts of like people that are like, well, technically, if he hadn't switched with Oscar, this and that. Don't get me wrong. Do those McLaren shit show things piss me off? Of course they do. But also, we've talked about this last episode. He wouldn't have won the world. He can't. You can't win the world championship by technicalities. You know what I mean?
no.
Like, I think it was well deserved. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
My first choice was Oscar or Max, but I'm not necessarily mad that Lando won. Like, I knew it was
No, I'm
probably
wearing my
most likely
Lando
going to
shirt.
happen. Right. And
I'm wearing my Lando shirt.
well, what's funny too is I meant to bring this up before. I was really excited about the possibility of Max winning again, and we've talked about this. I won't get into it because of how much I've seen him grow this season. And then
Right.
after qualifying, when he qualified pole, I don't know if you saw, but he stopped in the P1 box on the grid as like kind of like a threat. Like when he finished that lap, he just pulled up to the P1 box and stopped and was like, "This is where I'm going to be." I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
I thought it would have been really badass if he won, but he didn't. You know who did? Well, I mean, he won
Lando.
the race. He won the
He
race.
won the
But
race, but it
you
didn't
know who won
matter.
the world championship? Lando. And
Lando
Deserves it.
Little Lando Norris.
It
Like
was not all too much.
it was not all too much for little Lando Norris. You want to know why? Because he's your 2025 World Driver Championship. And you know what? He damn deserved it.
Yeah, I saw a meme. I say meme. I saw a post that was like all of the hatred for a certain driver leaving my body when I see them cry. And I want to say that applies to me because I don't hate Lando, so just wanted to clarify that.
Right.
But like all of my like, man, I wish Max had won or whatever. When I saw him like just shove both fingers,
I
both
mean,
hands into
he
his
cried
mask because he
big
could
and
not,
for a long
he
time.
wept. He did not come out of that car for like a whole minute. He was just
No.
crying.
And then my favorite, one of the last notes I took was Lando, I'm not crying Norris, because when they go for the interviews at the end of the race, he was like, he started getting choked up. He goes, I'm not crying. And it's like, we know you, but it's like, it's one of those, he absolutely deserved it because
Yeah.
controversial McLaren decisions are not like moments here, moments there. Like they all had them. I'm gonna bring it up because I know we talked about it last week, but it's like you don't become a championship driver on accident. Like you
No.
can't, like all of these, like yes, there's some luck, but it's also how you adapt and you come back from a double DNF that throws Max Verstappen truly back into title contention. Like it you got to give credit where credit's due. And Lando won. And I look like I feel like we saw first couple of seasons Lando again. After I
Yes, I
feel like
agree.
he saw this like all of this pressure that I truly think he has felt since he got that win in Miami last year and McLaren started improving. I think we and maybe he did it to kind of protect himself, who knows, but I feel like once he won, we saw Lando when Lando wasn't media trained and was teammates with Carlos again.
I wrote that down because ever since the past couple seasons, like we talked about, he has been under so much pressure, and I think this is where
Mhm.
people are coming out and saying that they don't like Lando because he hasn't really been himself. Like I'll be honest about that. He has not been himself. He's been under so much pressure, and you can tell that he's not necessarily managing it great.
Yeah.
And that makes him seem off-putting or attitude, whatever you want to call it. It just he's not himself, and he's not the Lando that people have loved lately, and that's why people have been so
Right.
annoying about it. But I literally wrote down here like when he took off the helmet and like hugged his mom and they were asking him
Oh my
about it and
God.
he like could not figure out what to say. He was just like I was like that is literally that's the child that started karting
Yes.
years ago. That is that child
Yes.
and he is like here right now with us. Like that is a
I
child
mean,
that
it's
is like getting his biggest dreams ever.
and I will never, like, even if honestly, I will come out and say it. Even if Lance Stroll were to win the World Drivers' Championship, like, which it's not going to happen,
It's not
but
gonna happen.
it's not. But it's like, I, I just think as a human, I can never be upset at most, not all. I won't say all because there are just some bad people that I don't want to see ever reach their dreams. But like
Christian Horner.
especially I think in the case of like Formula 1, like I don't think I'll ever be mad at seeing drivers like achieve pieces of their dream. And it's like in all of these interviews, sure Yuki was like if what do you want to be a restaurant. I want to open a restaurant. What's your biggest dream? And then it's like
Now he
but
can.
80-90% of the drivers are going to be there. I want to be I want to be world champion. I want to be world champion. And it's like Lando did it. And he did it with the team that he started with.
Which is crazy, by the way.
It's crazy. What I mean? Like there was
Yeah.
all this talk of like, yeah, Oscar came in and he just kind of started like doing really well, but he also came in when McLaren started doing better.
Yeah.
Lando was with them when they were bad,
Bad.
like
Yeah.
bad. And to see him grow with this team, like it was so fun. Like I got giddy and just I also got a little bit emotional of just like when he hugged his mom and his dad and his family. Like it just you could see just I think this whole family was like I think they all took a deep breath together.
Yeah. I thought it was really sweet. It was so fun to I was obviously like mildly disappointed because my favorite driver didn't win. But once I saw him start crying, I was like, oh, my heart is melting. And what's so funny, he hugs his mom, great hug. He hugs his dad, great hug. Carlos Sainz walks up, and it might be the most emotional hug out of all of them. Like, Carlos was like, yeah. And
I
I
just
was just like, oh, Carlando will never end, and I love it.
Carlando will never end because it's just those two like we've had so many good just Carlando moments since they Carlos left for Ferrari and then had to go to Williams, and it just I feel like I saw like I just it flashed me back to them as teammates together because I just said it's Lando and it's
They should
Carlos,
win.
just the
I feel like
whole oh it just
I
was
feel like
so
Carlos
fun
is
to
like an older brother to him in the F1 world a little
yeah.
bit. Yeah.
And
Ugh.
it was really cool to see. I mean, I I just loved seeing how support like all of even McLaren just it was really cool to see them celebrate Lando, and I think he deserves to be celebrated.
He definitely
Controversy,
does.
depending on who you talk to or not, like he he did what he needed to do and he put himself in a position like he came back from mistakes that he made. You
Yeah.
can't take that away from him.
No, you can't. And what's so funny also about Carlos while I'm on the topic, I saw this tweet that made me laugh. It was like the whole world championship celebration is happening. Like they haven't gone on the podium yet, but they're prepping for it. Meanwhile, throughout the race, Carlos, the entire Sainz family is in the Williams like building, blowing up balloons.
I did see that.
It's just like they're just in their own little world, and I love that for
It
them.
was
But
yeah, what
also
was
like
it?
the the cool down room was so awkward, and like I
I
understand.
mean, the
It
thing
was
is,
three people. One got the world championship, and two people lost the world championship. That's gonna
and they
be an
were all on the
awkward room.
podium.
Yeah, and they were all on the podium. It was a strange, weird room, but Max was a really good sport about it. Oscar was just quiet, but he was kind of a good sport about it. But you could tell he was like, I'm really sad. I'm trying to hide that right now.
And he didn't do a great job at hiding it, but I also just, when I put myself in his shoes, I would be mad too. It's when you look at it from Max's perspective, I think even he I think surprised himself in being in title contention because he shouldn't really have ever been.
No.
And so, and he has four. Like, would he have loved to add another, championship to his count? Obviously. But it's not like he lost his first title. It's not
No.
like he lost his first championship bid. Whereas Oscar, it was going to be a lot harder for him to win. He genuinely did. Like, he led the championship fight for a long time at the beginning of this season. And so
Yeah.
I can't fault him for being upset and not being able to hide all of that.
I genuinely like I know that you said like he wasn't really good at hiding it. Comparatively, I would have been a sobbing mess. I would have been like hyperventilating, like
Oh,
this is the worst day
oh,
of my
mhm,
life. And so the
mhm.
fact that he was able to remain mostly neutral, maybe seeming a little bit disappointed, I was like, that's more restraint than I'll ever have in my entire life. So I'm not too. I wouldn't have been mad at Lando for being sad if he hadn't won. I wouldn't have been mad at any of them for sulking because that's kind of
Right.
a big deal. But man, that cool down room was just so awkward. It was so
And it,
quiet. And then there was the glass wall of people taking photos of them all just
it
sitting
just
there. I was like, what the
was
hell?
a very odd setup. And the
They're in a
thing is, it,
fishbowl.
but I honestly, I don't think there was a way to really avoid that, especially
No.
with three being on the podium. Like, it was just going to be an awkward cool down room.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it not funny. It really was just
Yeah, it's so weird.
yeah, I don't
But
know. I mean, and
you want to know what
it
my
was
favorite part about all of this was? That at the end of the race, we still heard the Dutch national anthem.
honestly,
The
honestly,
shock. I didn't even think about the fact that they were gonna play it.
I
And
know.
so like Lando has won the world championship.
Yeah.
It's been like at least 20 minutes since the race ended, and so we're all digesting this.
Hmm.
We have our and like he comes up on third, they still give him the trophy and everything, and it's da, 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 da,
And I
da, da.
kind of
I was
forgot
like,
too that we were
what?
gonna get that. Yeah, I was like,
I
oh
don't know
right.
why I didn't think.
I think because it's like Lando won the championship, but Max still won the race, and so
I
they
know.
don't break protocol for the winner of the race just because someone won the world championship. Like it just was.
Yeah. Well, you know that meme, that like meme format where it's like the guy in third place that's like, yeah, and like all the people in one and two are just looking at him. That's literally what happened, even though it wasn't like out of him being an asshole. Like he
Yeah,
actually won the world championship, but it was just
it was
like
so
so
funny.
hearing the Dutch national anthem one last time, I was not expecting it, and
I
I
know. It
it
was kind of a
genuinely like
jump
made
scare
me
again,
laugh.
which was really funny. And and then so naturally they're gonna ask Max and Oscar of like, just about it and this and that. And so Max got asked at one point of, if you had a couple more races, like, do you think you could have done it? Max just hits him with one of those just Max grins, and he said, "We already have too many races. I'm happy it's over." And
Yeah.
the thing is, he's being so for real. He
Yeah.
genuinely is so glad that it's over.
Yeah, well, also what's so funny is he definitely like called out some of the reporters on some shit too.
Yeah.
Like one of them was like, "Well, what do you think about this one race where this one weird call happened and like you only lost by 2 points?" And he goes, "Well, I don't see you bringing up this other thing. What about this thing?"
Exactly. And
And
that's
also, oh sorry,
yeah.
I got one more. A reporter asked Oscar, they're like, "Yeah, like how is it? How does it feel like being different? Because in, the old races that you were in, or the old Formula 2, whatever it was, there's only 10 races per season. So like
Mhm.
how did that feel, or how was that and stuff?"
Yeah.
And he starts to answer and Max interrupts. He goes, "Oh, by the way, you would have won world championship if there were only 10 races." And Oscar goes, "Yeah, you're right. Thanks for that."
It just I love when Max is just like, I have something funny to say and I'm gonna say it. And it just and I
So
honestly I
good.
really applaud him for kind of clapping back at the reporter, because we talked about that last week. You could do that for any driver on the grid, darn near, because it's, well, what if this happened? What if this and you just that is
If
the
my
nature.
mom had balls, she'd be my dad.
Literally.
There's
It's just
there's no
it's the
use.
nature of not only motorsport, just sports in general. It's, well,
Life.
what if you won this game, or what if on this play you'd done this?
Right.
Shut up and accept what happened.
I know, it's so dumb. And so I love Max's mindset. And what's so funny is I feel like in the past couple years I've started to adopt Max's mindset on things. Like just like the specifically the if my mom had balls, she'd be my dad. Like genuinely,
Literally.
like I used to be, I say used to, I'm still so anxious. I'm still medicated for it. But it used to be worse. And I used to be like, well, what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that? And now I'm like, if my mom had balls, she'd be my dad. I've made my decision, I made my choices in my life, and it is what it is. Like there's no point in dwelling on like what would have happened if I had or hadn't done this, because it's over now. And so I would like to
Now,
just take a moment to formally thank Max Verstappen for changing my life.
and that I do know, should Ferrari ever get their shit together, and we do, maybe in our lifetime get a title contender, season, I just know that you and I and Shelby are just going to have to constantly remind one another of that. We're just going to need to like have this clip on loop of like, "Hey, remember when you said there's nothing you can, like, just you're going to have to roll with it. We're allowed
Hmm.
to feel our emotions, but we cannot." Like, it just I'm
Oh
like
yeah.
preemptively anxious about having to tell myself to not be anxious for a thing, and this is why I'm medicated. Like,
Right. Like I'm thinking like I'm gonna be like, "Hannah, remember 2021 Lewis Hamilton fans, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be 2025 Max and Oscar fans, but the bad ones." You know what I mean? Like you cannot be that person that you've sworn to hate. Like
yeah,
you don't want to live long enough to see yourself become the bad guy.
literally. It's
Even though I just know that we will do that exactly if it ever comes down
Oh,
to it.
absolutely. Um, you know, I am going to assume that you've seen this, but speaking of bad guys, um, did you see what supposedly is happening with our last like biggest op at Red Bull?
Oh, you mean Christian Horner?
No. Oh, you don't know this. Oh,
What?
this is you either don't know
Wait,
this
what's
or I'm being
happening?
so badly cryptic that you don't know. Okay. Supposedly, and this was I saw it first on Sky Sports. Sky Sports F1 tweeted this. Sky Sports News understands that Red Bull's motorsport advisor Helmut Marko will leave the company at the end of this year. Supposedly, homie is either retiring or they're just like, "Hey, leave." I can't
This
believe
is great
you know this.
news.
I
This is
didn't I
fantastic.
can't believe you didn't know. I saw this today
I
and I
didn't
was like,
know.
"Oh my." And I don't know if it's a retire yeah. And because Formula Racers said Helmut Marko is set to enter into retirement per another source. So it's still a rumor, but it's popping up other places. And like, I get, get him out of here. Get him off my
I hope he
television.
retires to his favorite place in hell.
I mean,
Like genuinely,
but
that
like,
guy sucks so bad.
he's the worst. And I can't believe we could potentially get a Red Bull with no Christian Horner and no Helmut Marko. I mean,
We
honestly,
just need to get rid of Joss Verstappen at that point.
nobody has more reason to celebrate than Isaac Kajar because he's potentially joining a Red Bull without Helmut Marko and without Christian Horner and
He
on
might be
new
joining.
regulations. Are you
He might
kidding
be
me?
joining like a very positively forward-thinking Red Bull team, which has
He's
not happened.
basically starting Red Bull like from scratch. If
Yeah.
there's no Helmut Marko, it's a whole new team. It's basically a whole new team for almost everybody, but especially if Helmut Marko goes, this is going to be a Red Bull that we have quite literally never seen before.
And I'm interested to see how that plays out for them on the track. Off the track, I'm like, this is lovely. I'm so glad that the mental health of these
Yes.
drivers might actually be somewhat okay.
Yeah.
On track, we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
that's
It's
great news. I'm so glad that you brought that
I
up. I
can't
did not
believe you
know.
hadn't seen that yet.
I
Oh
haven't been
my
on
god.
Instagram today. I haven't been on at all.
That's fair. I was on my while I was waiting at the pharmacy, I was just like scrolling through tweets and I was like, "Oop, nope, want to talk about that. Oop, yep, want to talk about that. Oop, yep, want to talk about that." Um, so we brought up the new regulations.
Hmm.
Um, and with
Rest in peace,
those
DRS.
is the death of the DRS.
We have a funeral.
I'm actually really sad. Well,
I
okay,
love
no,
DRS.
I have loved it, but at least we won't get asked, what does DRS even stand for? And we can, we can't say Danny Rick's supremacy anymore. It's a little sad. I mean, it just, it is sad, but I low key am kind of excited because it's being replaced by MOM, which,
Hmm.
for those who can
Mom.
spell, spells mom. So like, and nobody's gonna call it where like DRS, you have to call it by the letters. Nobody's gonna call it the MOM. They're
I'm
all
gonna
gonna
call it
call it
mom.
mom.
I've
So
already
like
heard people calling it mommy.
the like
Turbo
middle
mommy.
school boy humor in me is so unbelievably excited, probably a little too excited for all of the your mom jokes.
Like, yeah, Charles Leclerc turned on your mom. Like, that's what it's gonna be.
Like,
And it's like, I've
guys,
already heard
guys, I
people on the
don't have
internet calling
mom.
it like,
Mom isn't working. Like, just
mom. I've heard people
like I've
on the
lost
internet
mom.
already calling it like turbo mommy. And I'm like,
Like,
I think it's so funny. It's gonna be
and because
great. Well,
you're telling me not a one person pushed back and was like, "Hey guys, should we, maybe, like considering most of the sport the dominating language is English, like do guys,
no,
that
I love it. I love whoever thought that through and was like, mom's fine.
no, I'm not mad about it. But it's the
Yeah.
fact that it's very real. Like no more that's the only I think silver lining and consolation with losing DRS is that we get mom.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting because you can utilize it anywhere on the track. You have to be within a certain distance to the car in front of you, but that distance changes depending on the track that you're on too, which is
Mhm.
going to be interesting because
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly going to be a little bit of a learning curve because right now it's like DRS 1 second behind the person in
Oh,
DRS zone. Easy
I
peasy.
mean,
We have to understand what that second gap, like what that gap is per race now. And we have to remember
right?
that because we'll be like, why
And
aren't
I
they
mean,
using mom?
I know we've talked about it so much, but I genuinely am probably equally excited and terrified for next season because we have no idea what's going to happen. And I
Mm-mm.
think, jumping way ahead to like testing next year, but I don't think we will ever see sandbagging like we will see sandbagging at testing next year because not a team, every team is going to like their like cards closer than close to the chest.
Yep.
And granted, I don't even think race one will probably be the biggest. Like, it just is going to be crazy because we, this is the first like live rule change that we're seeing since we've gotten into the sport. I can't wait. Genuinely
Yeah.
cannot wait.
The first live rule change aside from don't curse or you have to pay $50,000,
Which, yeah,
Um,
fat good that did.
Seriously, really. But I'm excited for it, also terrified. I have no
Mhm.
idea. A lot of people are saying that it's going to be bad for the sport. A lot of people are saying it's going to be good for it. I don't know how I feel about it, and I'll let you know when that time comes.
And the
But
thing,
until I see it in action, I'm not going to have much to say about it.
nobody, like, what do you mean people are like, no, it's going to ruin the sport? You're going to tell me people haven't said that about every single rule change ever? Like,
Yeah,
that's, like,
seriously.
it just, we're not going to know. And who knows? It could be the most boring season ever next year. And if it is, they'll figure out some things to change for the next season. Would it
Right.
suck to go through a whole season of just nothing? Sure, but it's Formula One. There's gonna be something.
At the very least, we'll have an extra team with two extra drivers to complain
Yeah,
about or to talk about and gossip about. I say
that
complain
in
about. I
itself
love Valtteri. I cannot wait to see
is
him again. But
really exciting. And
ooh, Christian Horner's gonna
I
be back
will,
at the paddock though.
well, I mean, I will, I will be also. So speaking of Valtteri, we're getting Valtteri and Checo back, and I will be the first to eat crow and admit that I was probably a little too biased on my Checo hate.
Me too.
I
I'll admit it.
I have come to realize that it was a little forced, and when you find out it wasn't entirely his fault, Max was just so good that it covered up all of Red Bull's discrepancies and evolution of the car in the wrong direction. Um, Checo, um,
I
Sergio
owe you an
Perez, this is my
apology.
formal apology.
Lo
I'm
Santo.
actually really excited to see him and Valtteri as teammates because
I am
again,
too.
we're about to find out which second driver is the second driver, and I think that's just kind
Right.
of exciting.
But what's also funny is that both of them are like older. They're not like in their 20s or even
Yeah,
like maybe late 30s. I don't know how old Checo is, but like they're both not like hot off
they're
the
not
press new
rookies. They are
drivers.
far from rookies.
They seem like they almost seem like in a way like they're just coming out of retirement for fun, you know? And I know
Kind
that's
of.
not the case, but that's kind of the
Mhm.
vibe it gives.
No, no, no. I know what you mean. Like truly, it's like the uncles that you don't really see for a long time are suddenly cool again, and now they're just everywhere.
Yeah, it's like I just can't wait to see what happens with that. It's
I
gonna be
it
so fun.
it's one of those. I feel like even more unknown than you would have going into a regular season, just with all of the changes. I'm really excited, but I think it's it was such a cool season. I mean, Williams did things this season that I don't even think Williams expected Williams to do. I mean,
No.
you had like this is kind of a crazy stat. So the teams who had both drivers finish in the top 10 of the World Drivers' Championship standings are McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, and Williams. Is that
Who would
not
have
crazy?
thought?
Who would have? I
That's
mean,
crazy.
certainly not me. I mean, like,
No.
genuinely insert the Paul Rudd meme of who would have thought? Not me.
Not me.
It, it truly is. What is it? The Carlos Sainz effect? Because the year before he, like, let's run through this. This is the year before he joins a team, and then the year he leaves, or like the year, like his basically either nonetheless, Carlos Sainz effect. So when he was at Renault, the year before P9, the year he left, they were P4. McLaren, the year he joined, they were P6. The year he left, they were P3. Ferrari, the year he joined, they were P6. The year he left, which was last season, he was P2. And then this one, granted, he didn't leave. Last year, Williams was P9. They were the second to worst team on the grid. This year, they were P5.
P5.
That's crazy. I
The
mean,
Carlos
that's
Sainz
like the
effect.
jump McLaren made from like fourth to first between like
Yeah.
24 and 23 or 23 and 24, whatever it was. I mean,
James
ninth
Vowles
to
was like, I
fifth.
see it.
I mean, ninth to fifth already in itself, I think is just an insane and admirable, like just they're criminally insane for that. But to do that when you literally started the season saying like, hey, we're focusing on next year, we're not really going to do anything to the car. Whatever it does is what it's going to do, like minimum of minimum upgrades. And you're telling me you finished P5 on the grid?
Oh yeah. James Vowles
And,
seriously like saw Carlos and was like, I need that guy right now. And no one
and like
else,
add
like
to
as
cart.
far as as far as I saw, whether that was in DTS or just in general, no one was really like fighting for him that much. Like, don't get me
Which
wrong,
is
there were the rumors about Mercedes, but they were like, we're gonna go with Kimmy.
they
Like
were always going to go with Kimmy. Yeah.
James was like, I will get on my knees and beg right now to sign that
And he
contract.
darn near had to because oh, it was almost so much worse and he was almost at
Oh my
Alpine.
God. Ew.
I mean,
Yeah.
James Val's like the man that you are, honestly. And we'll say Carlos Sainz effect, but you got to give credit to Alex Albon
You do.
because
Oh my God,
while Carlos was
Alex.
learning that car, Alex really carried that first half of the season.
He did. He did a fantastic. He did
And a
so
lot of
much this season.
he really did, and a lot of the moments that he had the back half weren't always his fault.
No.
So it's like you can't say, well, like Carlos just started doing really well, which is true. Alex just also had a really lot of bad luck in the back half of the season. But like
Which, hey, that's a sport.
nonetheless, it's the nature of the sport. Again, yeah. Nonetheless, hats off to Williams. I the like Ferrari and Williams fan in me, again, so excited, but so freaking terrified that like I'm like, can we is it time for the season to start yet? Like
No, I was just
literally
about to ask. My next question was, hey, so what do we do now?
um cry, wallow in self-pity. Um I will say, as much as I pretended to be mad at my sister for turning me into an emotionally invested Dallas Stars hockey fan, hockey I think is genuinely going to fill the void for me because it kind of bridges that gap. There's a little bit of overlap, but it really kind of does bridge that gap. I guess the silver lining too, we have a whole ass winter Olympics.
That's
So like
true.
that'll take up a good like 2 weeks of the winter break. I
That'll be
mean,
nice.
it sucks. I'm gonna be sad. I think this is like day one of 90 or something without F1. And
That's bad.
when me need car on track go fast.
Car track now.
Car track now.
Car track now.
Me need car track
I feel like
now.
last season or after last season, no one really played sim racing on like stream or anything either, which was so upsetting because
It
I
was
used to
so
love tuning
quiet.
into
It
those.
was
I know Max did a little bit, but not like no
yeah.
one really like they didn't all
No.
hop on like they used to, and I'm like
It
that
was
was the only thing that got me through it.
it was so quiet last off season, and I'm like, I know y'all are on your like well deserved, European vacations and getting to go like parade around the world and do whatever you want, but like, can you come back to your job, please? I
Why
miss
can't
you.
Max Verstappen be so like obsessed with his work that it's all he ever does? Like
Well, it
why
kind of
can't
is.
Yeah, like it's like why can't they all be so obsessed with racing that the moment they're away from it they're like no I have to be back and then they start
No,
racing
I know.
online for everyone to see. I don't know.
It's fine. We'll live, but I'm gonna pretend that we're dying because that's kind of what it feels like a little
It
bit.
is. It is. I
I
don't think
mean,
it's hit me yet. It has not hit me yet.
I don't think it has either because I knew we still had to get through this. I say get through. I knew we still got to do this episode, and that like I think we're still kind of coming off of that like we just saw a three-way fight in the last race. Like I think we're not quite coming off of that high yet. So I
No.
fear the crash out from this is going to be depressing.
I think it's gonna hit me the moment that I hang up on this call. Like I'll be like, okay, I just uploaded the episode, and you'll be like, cool, talk to you
Probably.
later. And then we're gonna
Hmm.
hang up, and I'm gonna be like, oh,
And then it's gonna be like, so what are we gonna do for our first off-season episode?
yeah. Also, I'm like, and with like, I don't think we're gonna be able to do like an every week or every other week off season episode. So it's like I'm gonna be talking to you a little bit less.
That's hilarious.
Okay, well, like you know what I mean, like having like a
I know what
dedicated
you mean.
like the
I
Monday
know what you
after a
mean.
race is belongs to Sydney, you know?
Uh, Yeah. Because honestly, I don't know that we who knows. We'll see. We got to figure that out. Should we as podcasters probably already have a plan for, going into the off season? Yeah, sure, but you get
I'll
what
give
you get
you
with us.
I'll give you my favorite Donald Trump quote. I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now.
Literally,
That's
yeah,
how
I
it
got
feels. I'm like, I
concepts
have
of a plan.
concepts of episodes, like,
So we got
but
all these ideas.
we
Stay
haven't talked
tuned
about
to
it.
see what actually happens. Something. There will be something. We're not going to just like radio silence for 90 days. But
I think that would be I think if we do radio silence for 90 days, check in on us. There's something wrong.
yeah. Yeah, that would be it's going to be a cry for help if you don't hear anything from
Yeah, like give us the Christmas holiday to like
Yeah,
recoup and to like mourn this season, and
a little
then
bit, yeah.
after January 1st, maybe a day or two, but if not, like someone call us, someone do a wellness check, because
Somebody do a wellness check. It might be
yeah,
necessary.
yeah.
But
So
nonetheless, I mean, it was while a somewhat I don't want to say boring race because there was still things that happened that like I think just because of like the anxious energy of it being a three-way title fight, like it was I think a really great way to end the season. We have
yeah,
the first world driver champion that isn't a McLaren or sorry, that isn't a Mercedes or a Red Bull driver. This is the first time in over 5,000 days that it's not a Mercedes
damn.
or a Red Bull driver. Or to make it that it's not Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen. Like it's wild. Or even I think Sebastian Vettel because wasn't he before nah whatever. Whoever it was. It's been a long ass time
It's
since
been
we've
a
had
minute.
anybody but a McLaren or a Mercedes or good lord. Ha! I can't too many teams that start with this blah, 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 blah. Ha. Anyways, it's the first time we've seen a new
World
I'm gonna
champion.
I'm just gonna about I'm about to go just put myself in timeout.
It's the first time that we've seen a new world champion in
Thank
a
you.
very long time that
Mhm.
isn't Red Bull or Mercedes or Max or Lewis.
Thank you for picking up my incompetence.
Of course.
And
I think you're just overcome with emotion that the season's over.
honestly, like it was. We talked about it earlier. It was a great season in just a completely different kind of great. Like it's a Venn diagram. Last season and this season, and the middle is great.
Uh-huh.
Or like
Yep.
whatever. It's just a totally different kind of great. We still had so many firsts. I'm gonna miss the fact that our 2025 rookies aren't gonna be rookies next year because it's been so fun.
They're still
Um,
rookies. I don't care. They're still the
I mean,
rookies.
they might as well be.
They're the
It
babies.
it welcome back 2019 rookies because like that's really what it felt like with this group. It
It
just
did.
I'm really gonna miss this season. I'm gonna miss
Same.
DRS, not gonna miss the SF25. It can go burn in hell.
Yeah.
Um, but like I'm genuinely sad to see this era, like the downforce just era of Formula One kind of, that chapter is closing. It's going to be added to the history books. And but I'm also really excited and again, really terrified for this new one.
And you know what else? I think we need to take a moment to congratulate ourselves for one full season of podcasts, like a
Dude,
full season. We did
that's
it.
crazy.
Remember when I started this, or I was like, hey, we should do this, and you're like, this is just an unemployment ramble of hers. And then I was
No,
like,
it
no, I'm
wasn't even
serious.
that. it was one of those, like, everybody says, like, oh yeah, we should start a podcast. And to me, that was honestly, that's my mistake, because when Hannah says, like, hey, we should do something, that usually means, like, hey, I'm in the middle of, like, making this happen. The we
Hmm.
should do this is a courtesy. Like,
I
it's gonna
usually don't.
just, and
Yeah, well, like everything I do is like I don't like to share my ideas too preemptively because I used to do that. I used to be like, "Oh my God, we should
yeah,
do this," and then it would never happen. I'd be disappointed. And so I was
right.
like, "Let me just like really think this through. I don't want to get us excited." And then I
And
like started planning it, and I was like,
it
"Hey, what if we had a
genuinely
podcast that I'm already planning?"
it genuinely has been one of my favorite things, like, new things that has been added to my life. Like, it just, and especially with me moving and us not living in the same state together anymore, like, it has been, not that, we would have bugged the hell out of each other happily, but to know we've got a stand-in date 20 some odd Mondays, or sometimes later in the weekdays, out of the year, like, we made it through an entire race season, and that,
I
you're right, like, little applause for ourselves. I think it's
I
an
feel like it can only go
accomplishment.
up from here. Like I think now that we have a whole season under our belts,
Mhm.
our confidence is going to grow in this. We understand how like making the podcast works. We've
And
gotten
it's
into our flow from not living near each other, and so I feel like it's
yeah,
only going
and
to
it just,
be better.
I think we saw it with, looking at our Spotify Wrap, like, 8 people, or 8 different countries,
Eight
people in
different
8 different countries
countries.
really listen to this. So, like, thank you, because
And we
that's
had like
crazy. Coming from
double
Australia,
digit
and, like,
numbers for people that like double digits
it
for people that that we were their top podcast too. I'm like it doesn't seem like a
yeah,
lot, but it's a
and
lot.
it's a lot, considering, like, yeah, we've been at it for a little over a year now, but like, I genuinely, we saw growth this year, and we saw tangible growth, and that's just kind of exciting, because we've always said it, we're gonna yap, so we just kind of yap and talk about what we were gonna talk about anyways. And the fact that people listen to it because they want to, like, thank you guys. I
Yeah,
think, if we don't, we probably don't say it enough. Thank you for listening. If you've been with us since day one, or you just stumbled upon us, I'm sorry, but also not. Thank you for listening, and we really appreciate you guys.
round
And
of applause for you guys. Little mini round of applause for you guys.
but it's just
Yeah.
been, it has been, like, I can't stop smiling. It's just been
I
a
know.
fun season of podcast, a fun season of racing. Despite all of the turmoil and depression,
Yeah,
I feel like all of the other, just, like, really, really cool things that have come out of it genuinely overshadow that. And for that, I'm
definitely.
thankful, and that I don't have to dwell too much on that.
Yeah,
Nonetheless, I,
definitely.
two thumbs up. Two
Two thumbs
thumbs up.
up. And also, like, I one more thing. I think social media has really distorted the everyone's opinion on like what is successful and what is a lot. Because if you think
Yeah.
about it, like if I posted something on Instagram and it got like 30 likes, I'd be like, that's like nothing. But if you put in this room that I'm sitting in, this like small 2 bedroom apartment room, if you put 30 people in here, you could barely move. Like that's a lot
Yeah.
of people. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so when
I
I was thinking
know.
about it in terms of that the other day of like we have not only like tons of listeners now. Like we have a lot of listeners that like way more than we thought. But on top of that, double digit people that we were their top podcast of the year.
I
That's
know.
so many. That's a
That's
lot.
crazy.
I
I mean,
know.
and I shouted him out last week, but I'm gonna bring him up again. Danny listens to so many podcasts, so many, and we were number 3 on his list, and I was like, let's go.
Crazy. It
Like,
was great.
it's just, and I saw this after, it was later that night. A guy that used to work with my dad, evidently at some point, my dad shared the podcast with him, and he listens to it, and we were number 2 or 3 on his list. And it just, he said, and I totally forgot to tell you this. He he was just like, he's kind of not surprised, but just like the knowledge that we have, because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I feel like we don't know anything about Formula One, but like we kind of know a lot, and it's a little crazy. And just like, really, thank you for
Yeah,
any kind comment, or just reaching out, and because it really does, it means a lot when we hear from you guys. And anyways,
it does.
we got a little sappy, but that's probably to be expected.
It's the
So,
last race of this season. I think we've deserved a
yeah.
little bit of sap. But
Mhm.
yeah, actually, thank y'all so much. It has been so fun, and it's been fun to see it grow. I mean, it's
Yeah,
taking us to places that we never thought we'd go. We're going to Spain next year.
that's
Well, depending on if it
fun.
gets built in time, I don't know. That's
Hmm.
a conversation for another time.
Yep.
It took us to the Grand Prix. We met Matt and Tommy. We
Just
got a bunch
still
more
the
followers.
craziest thing I think that happened to us
I
this
know.
year.
I'm getting letters of assignment to photograph NASCAR and IndyCar. Like, there's a
Mhm.
lot that's happened because of this and because of the
Mhm.
friendship that we have in the podcast that we made together. So
Yeah. Go
thank y'all very
friendship. Go
much.
friendship.
Go friendship! Go Williams! Go friendship!
Williams. Go
Go
2025
Williams!
season. Go
I know. Oh
listeners.
my
Go
gosh.
go fifth
Oh,
wheel. We just had a whole lot of fun.
we had a great amount of time. And you know
Yeah.
what? A lot of merch came out of this year. We made sweatshirts, we made pins, we made stickers,
Mhm. We got
just for
t-shirts.
fun too. We haven't sold any of it. We just made it for fun.
Yeah. So like on the real, if y'all want anything, just DM us because
Yeah,
we
well,
don't have anything formal set up, but we got you.
I'll commission it from Misty. Like it'll be
Hmm.
great. So,
Hmm.
well, is
Nonetheless, I think it unfortunately is time to sign off on our final race episode for the 2025 season.
I know. Should we reverse it this time? You start it instead of me. Should we try
You
that?
know what? Why not? Let's switch it
Well,
up.
let's get
Last race,
crazy.
might as well.
Let's get
So,
crazy.
with that, just thank you guys so much. We love you all. We've had a blast. We hope you have had a blast. And with that, it is lights out.
And away we go. Ew!
Oh, bye,
What is it?
everybody.
Ugh.